Hello, hello. So I've got a new story today. It says inmate accusing P. Diddy of Grape gets a win in court. Jesus Christ. Got his booty hold all spread out, and now he got a win.
Thing that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
A man who's been in and out of prison since the 90s and is known in the Michigan criminal justice system for filing multiple lawsuits and appeals has a new target in his sights, Sean Diddy Combs. As the rapper faces legal attacks from all sides, what does this latest information mean?
I wonder if he lost that star in Hollywood. You know, he must have.
For the disgraced rapper. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Today we're going to introduce you to quite a character, Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith. He is an inmate at Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility out in Michigan, and this week he was granted a temporary restraining order against rapper Sean Diddy Combs, who has been in the news quite a lot in the past few months, and Mr. Smith's reasoning is very, very interesting. Hey, I want to quickly thank Upside for sponsoring this episode. For 25 cents back.
The matter of Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy. Bad Boy Records label owner, founder, also known as Puff P. Daddy, Bad
Rapper with too many P's.
Boy, Diddy Run the City, Sean Combs, also known as
Diddy Run the City. That sounds like more like a statement than a name. What?
As Sean Puffy Combs. And this is file number 24-7362NO. We'll grab your paperwork here real quick out of this other paperwork. We do have Mr. Cardello-Smith appearing from the Michigan Department of Corrections. Sir, where are you currently located?
I'm located at the Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility, 2500 South Sheridan Drive, Muskegon, Michigan, 49444, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Or your honor.
Thank you. So I do see that we do have a proof of service on Mr. Combs, but for purposes of this hearing, you filed a motion for a temporary restraining order and or a preliminary injunction to stop all sales of the property and assets attached to or involved with said property based on the interest of plaintiff and plaintiff's connections to defendant's sexual assault of plaintiff Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, requiring a preliminary injunction. And
ooh, I see what's happening here. So he's trying to sue Diddy for getting all up in his guts, and it appears that Diddy's selling a lot of property and probably is going to file for bankruptcy. So he's trying to get him to stop selling the property so that he can get that recoup whatever he can from the court case.
And or a temporary restraining order. Do you wish to argue the motion today, sir?
Yes, your honor.
All right, you may proceed then.
Okay, the purpose of it is based on two actions taken by Mr. Combs himself, directly with me here. We did a live one-on-one visit in our prison visiting room. There's two meetings within the past 2 weeks with Mr. Combs on one meeting, and then a financial advisor on the other meeting on Mr. Combs' behalf. And he stated that he would make me an offer to end the case and what happened to me because of other things that he stated he has going on in his life that require his money right now, and he wants to sell everything off. And he made me a financial offer of $2.3 million to allow what happened to me to go away. And he stated that he's going to be selling his property, and under the 2005 California Civil Code 2881-2885, the creation of liens, which allows out-of-state justices and orders to cause a stop of any title transfer, property transfers in Los Angeles or any other place that he has property. He stated that he wouldn't be able to proceed with that sale. and he did it the day after I served him the suit. And he also said that he won't be filing an answer to the complaint. He said, you can find me in default or whatever. He has a better chance with default than he would with having a restraining order stop. And I said, so you want to hide you want to hide your money and stop from being quite possibly paid to me if I'm given the benefit of a judgment in my favor for what you've done to me. And he pretty much said, yeah. He goes, you know how we get down. And I said, okay, well, I disagree with how you get down. Your sale shouldn't go through.
So I'm gonna hold on.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Cardello-Smith. Okay, so you went in a different direction that I thought you were going into. I thought we were just going to focus. No. You should be kind of went off on a different direction than what your actual motion was.
Yeah.
So what I just want to say is settlement negotiations.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
In this case, are probably better not. Yeah, they're not to be placed on the record today. Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. You're not an attorney. Okay. I understand that. So if we can just backtrack and focus just on your motion.
I get what you want.
Okay, thank you.
If he's allowed to sell his property that he has in LA and the properties that are in his name being used and held by other people in Michigan, then it will cause me harm because I can be tied directly to those properties through loans and through other areas of investment that I did when I was out there and while in prison through money that I've sent. And
why were you sending?
If he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid his responsibility in these matters here. That's what a temporary restraining order would do. It would prevent that from happening. Because it's a very serious matter. It involves a lot of money. And
I actually had no idea you could use a temporary restraining order to stop people from selling their property. But that's interesting. That's an interesting use of the law.
Him selling this would help him avoid his liability for these actions done upon me. And I was just hoping that I'd be able to get the restraining order to prevent that. There won't be any harm to him, any of the parties. There won't be any harm to him in any way. And if it's deemed that it's not justified, then he can go ahead and go through with the sale at the end of the case. But one has to be put in place to stop this from happening.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much.
Yes.
So Cardello-Smith, who claims he met personally with Combs over the last few weeks, wants this injunction to prevent Combs from selling property. And why does this matter? Because you might remember that in July, as we reported, Combs had listed his home in the Homely Hills area of Los Angeles for $70 million. No word yet on whether there's any takers there, but that is the same home that Homeland Security agents raided back in the spring, reportedly in connection with a sex trafficking investigation by the Southern District of New York. Now, to be clear, no charges or arrests have come as a result of that, but we're continually following that developing story. Now as Judge Anna Marie Anzalone stepped away from the bench for a moment to check on another piece of paperwork, Cardello-Smith kind of made chit-chat with an attorney who happened to be in the courtroom.
All right, I'm going to check one more of your filings.
I'm having a hearing and they stopped the hearing so you could be heard.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Nice
tie.
Thank you.
Nice tie. Is this small talk?
Couldn't wear one. They don't give us ties.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Right.
Yeah,
there is.
But they have clip-ons, you know.
Yeah. Clip-ons are the best, aren't they?
Widest laugh.
So I received your complaint and all the attachments to it. And then I received this motion And I just wanted to take a moment to review back through the U.S. District Civil Docket and your complaint. So I did do that. That's all. And,
Yes.
okay. Anything else?
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
Better.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a proof of service showing that Mr. Combs was served on July 6th of 2000 and let me see, is that 24?
Yes, yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the complaint that Cardello-Smith filed here that this temporary restraining order is in connection to. Now, Cardello-Smith claims that in 1997, he was a bartender at a restaurant in Detroit. He says he was invited to a gathering at the Holiday Inn where Combs would be partying.
That look in his face, man. If he invites me to a party looking at me like that, I'm like, nah, I'm good, but I'm good. it ain't happening. He ain't getting in my back door.
The complaint reads, quote, plaintiff was excited to attend this gathering and did so because this was Sean Puff Daddy Combs, Bad Boys. Plaintiff had participated in and consumed alcohol with Mr. Combs and the ladies and other security. Puffy was shockingly cool and someone who seemed like a really decent normal guy. Cardello-Smith goes on to allege that he participated in group sex with several women and Combs, but said that when Combs showed an interest in him, he immediately got up and sat on a couch. By the way, a little side note here, these allegations are very similar to what has been alleged in several lawsuits that have been filed against Sean Combs since November of 2023. Recall,
apparently
he's facing allegations.
Goes out, parties with dudes, brings up a bunch of chicks that he paid to come there. He had them banging the chicks, and then he gets bored of the chicks. He started looking at the dudes. Man, it's greedy.
Of sex trafficking, rape, harassment, abuse, and so forth. But Cardello-Smith's complaint states, quote, I then went to get another drink, and Sean asked me if I needed something else. I said no, and he said, here, drink this one. And I thought it was another glass of Jim Beam, so I took it because I had sat one down in the other room, and then I drank some more, and I stayed sitting there and began getting drowsy and started to pass out, and then Sean Combs said to me, I added a little something to it for you. I will get that from you anyway, one way or another. I then passed out. Cardello-Smith claims that when he woke up, Combs admitted he sexually assaulted him when he was unconscious. Cardello-Smith claims that he left, he never went back. He alleges he filed a police report but couldn't talk about what happened to him. He says therapy in prison helped him realize that he was a victim of rape. And he goes on to claim that Combs paid off police to keep the whole thing quiet. Quote, the defense...
Therapy in prison and the news story of Puff Daddy getting sued probably helped you.
And paid Detroit and Monroe police officers to keep it hidden, and they hid it very, very well, and have kept it hidden for many decades.
How did the police keep it hidden? You said you filed a police report, but you couldn't talk about what actually happened. No one's hiding anything.
But not anymore. So in the complaint against Combs, Cardello-Smith is asking for $100 million. And then Cardello-Smith makes the claim during this hearing,
out of your mind,
and this is where it takes an even bigger turn, that Combs and or his associates came to the Michigan prison in person to offer him $23 million instead.
Yeah, to stop suing him as a settlement. What are you talking about, man?
So then Combs lists his Los Angeles property as being up for sale, and Cardello-Smith takes an issue with this because in his motion for the temporary restraining order, Cardello-Smith claims the property, sale, transfer of title, or deed should not take place because it is being done so for the sole purpose of depriving this plaintiff of any monetary judgment that would be entered in favor of the plaintiff in the event this matter went to a jury trial. Now, the judge looked over this paperwork, heard his argument, and actually granted the injunction, the temporary restraining order, to stop Combs from selling property for a period of 90 days. You don't always see that. Non-attorneys winning legal motions, arguments, so that was a big deal.
I mean, he had a lot of time on his hands in prison. Then again, he kind of has a history of
filing legal papers, so he might have learned how to do all this. But also, Cardello-Smith wasn't done yet. No, he also wanted to have a default judgment entered against Combs because he claims that Combs didn't file an answer, which is a legal response, to the summons. And so the judge let him know about next steps.
So you're gonna have to file the affidavit and request for default, okay?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
And obviously you'll be able to file that before a pretrial date anyway, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so
All
the
right,
order was
so-
granted?
The order, your ex parte motion was granted, or your motion for a temporary restraining order was granted. I've signed it. And so we'll get that processed and back to you, and then you'll have to obviously serve that on the parties.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Back to you,
Can your
Judge.
order
All
say any, Your Honor, can you add on your order any Michigan representatives of him acting on his behalf for Michigan
No,
properties
the
as
order
well?
is whatever you put
As
on.
part of that order, or does your order cover everything?
You provided the order, so I'm
Exactly.
going off.
Yes,
the
I did.
order.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I'm going off the order you provided to me, and I've signed that
Okay,
order
that's-
already.
That's what I
Okay.
needed. Thank you. All right,
All
thank you,
right,
Your
thank
Honor.
you, thank you, Mr. Cardello-Smith, and we'll make sure the writ's done, and we'll see you back in September. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. All right.
Thank you.
So it seems at the very least he's going to be able to present an argument about default judgment, meaning he automatically should win this. But we will see if the court ultimately accepts it, and Cardello-Smith
Yeah,
is
there's
going
no
to be
way he's getting a
scheduled back in
default
court in
judgment.
September. But I want to give you just a little bit more background here about him, because I think it's important. It puts it all in context. So Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, sometimes known as just Derrick Lee Smith, is very well known to the Michigan court system because over the last couple of decades, Smith has filed dozens of criminal appeals and civil complaints to the point that some officers of the court have allegedly called him, quote, a nuisance. For example, that includes a lawsuit
call him
that he
that too.
filed against the Archdiocese of Detroit,
Defendants appeals? Okay.
Assumption Grotto
I thought it was Applebee's for a second.
Church and School, St. Jude Parish, St. Judge Rectory, St. Jude School, plus at least one priest and one Monsignor claim
But Jesus Christ, this man getting his booty played with by everybody. Is he an altar boy?
he was sexually abused and was silenced when he tried to report what happened to him. Now, his court record indicates that in 1998, he was convicted of 2 counts of third-degree sexual conduct, and when he was paroled and while out, prosecutors say he committed more sexual offenses. He was convicted in 2008 on 6 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, 2 counts of
So he keeps going to jail for the same type of stuff he's accusing of people doing to him.
kidnapping. He pled no contest in that case. And then in
Kidnapped
2019,
somebody?
he was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct.
Jesus.
Cardello-Smith has appealed all of those convictions over the years, contends that he was falsely accused of rape in 1998, that he was set up by the police. Recently,
The police did it. The police did it. You have a history of this, and the police did this. The police set you up. This man.
Smith has attempted to file multiple documents with the Michigan Court of Appeals, many of which have seemingly been rejected because they were filed incorrectly. And remember, Cardello-Smith is representing himself, so that wouldn't be surprising. Now, in a recent opinion, a judge for the Western District of Michigan wrote that Cardello-Smith has, quote, filed many habeas corpus petitions in this court and the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. Each of his prior petitions has been denied, dismissed, or transferred to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals as second and or successive. Now, by the way, habeas corpus is a legal challenge to one's detention, saying it's unlawful. But that same judge wrote this opinion back in 2018, quote, petitioner has also filed a number of habeas petitions that related to prison conditions or misconduct determinations. Courts have dismissed those petitions because the issues raised were not cognizable on habeas review. Additionally, petitioner has filed a number of petitions relating to the denial of parole. Petitioner also filed one petition relating to a first-degree murder conviction and sentence. Petitioner reports he was sentenced for the offense on the same day as his 2008 convictions, but the court can find no record of that conviction or sentence.
Okay.
Finally, petitioner filed one petition that did not indicate what state action he was challenging or why he was challenging it.
He was just doing it
Bottom
for the.
line,
He was doing it for the
Cardello-Smith is
lulz.
certainly known for being litigious. Are these real claims that he's making, particularly against Sean Combs, or is he just jumping on the bandwagon of legal action against Sean Combs? We
I
shall
would say
see.
50-50.
He won a temporary legal victory.
Because Diddy is that crazy, but he could be full of it.
We'll see what happens next. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar.
Damn. Guess that's it. Predators going after predators. Ah, my God. Well, interesting story. Until next time.